Did you know your crosshair choice might be revealing more about you than your KD ratio? Forget personality tests. In Valorant, your crosshair is the window to your gamer soul. Stick around as we dissect what your little aiming buddy says about your deepest, darkest gaming secrets. Forget about zodiac signs, what's your crosshair type? That's right, we're going full psychoanalysis on your aiming reticle. Welcome to the Crosshair Museum of Personalities, where each exhibit spills the tea on different crosshair users. Trust me, it's more accurate than your last match's accuracy stats. Alright, time to put those tiny crosshairs under the microscope. Ever noticed how some players rock a reticle smaller than their chances of going pro? There's a method to this madness, and it says more about them than you think. These pixel-perfect precision seekers are a special breed, obsessing over every minute detail in their gameplay. But let's be real, it's not just about the game for them. You see, these tiny crosshair enthusiasts are the same people who adjust their monitors by millimeters, organize their desks with military precision, and probably have a color-coded calendar. They're the control freaks of the gaming world, and their crosshair is their badge of honor. If you spot someone with a crosshair so small it could be mistaken for a dead pixel, congratulations, you found the person who alphabetizes their spice rack. But here's the kicker. These players aren't just precise in-game, they're precise in life. They're the ones who will correct your grammar in the chat, point out that one pixel misalignment in your UI, and probably judge you for not having a perfectly optimized loadout. Their motto, if you can see it, it's too big. Apply that to your crosshair, your sensitivity settings, or even your margin of error in life. Now you might think having a crosshair smaller than a gnat's eyelash would make you a god tier aimer. And sure, these players often see themselves as the sharpshooters of Valorant, but here's the paradox. They're seeking perfection in a game that's inherently chaotic. It's like trying to paint a masterpiece while riding a roller coaster. Good luck with that, Picasso. But let's give credit where it's due. These tiny crosshair aficionados are committed to their craft. They've probably spent more time fine-tuning their crosshair than most people spend on their college applications. And you know what? Sometimes it pays off. They're the ones pulling off those pixel-perfect headshots that make you question your life choices. However, there's a fine line between precision and obsession. If you find yourself squinting at your screen more than actually playing the game, it might be time to reevaluate your life choices. Remember, your crosshair is supposed to help you aim, not give you an eye exam. Now let's shift gears from the microscopic to the gargantuan. Ever seen a crosshair so huge it makes you wonder if the player accidentally enabled big head mode? These maximalists of the gaming world are a breed apart, and their choice of reticle speaks volumes about their playstyle, and maybe even their personality. Picture this, you're spectating your teammate and suddenly you're hit with a crosshair that could double as a Windows cursor. It's not just big, it's comically enormous. You might think they're compensating for something, but nah, they're just embracing the chaos. These players aren't interested in pixel perfect precision, they're here for a good time, not a long time. So what does rocking a crosshair the size of Jupiter say about you? Well, for starters, you're probably the life of the party. You're the type who orders the spiciest dish on the menu just because. In Valorant, while others are sweating over angles and lineups, you're charging in guns blazing. Crosshair leading the way like a neon billboard. But here's the kicker. Using a massive crosshair in a game like Valorant is like bringing a fire hose to a water gun fight. It's overkill, it's impractical, and it's absolutely hilarious. These players are the walking embodiment of go big or go home. They're not here to climb the ranks, they're here to have fun and make a statement. Let's be real, if you're using a crosshair that takes up half your screen, precision isn't exactly your middle name. You're more of a spray and pray tactician. And you know what? That approach probably bleeds into your real life too. Making a decision, why carefully weigh the options when you can just close your eyes and pick? But don't get it twisted, these big crosshair energy players aren't necessarily bad at the game. They've just decided that if they're going to miss, they're going to miss big. No half measures here, it's like they're playing their own mini game. How many enemies can I fit inside my crosshair at once? Here's a pro tip, if your crosshair is bigger than your agent's head, you might want to reconsider your life choices. Or don't. Who am I to judge? If your aim is to never miss the broadside of a barn, congratulations, you've succeeded. At the end of the day, your massive crosshair is more than just a reticle, it's a lifestyle choice. It says, I'm here for a good time, not for a precise time. You're the player who turns every match into a party, every round into a spectacle. And in a world of tryhards and meta slaves, sometimes that's exactly what we need. Alright, let's talk about the crosshair chameleons. You know the type, they're changing their crosshair more often than they're changing their underwear. But here's the million-dollar question, are they indecisive or just ahead of the curve? These players are the restless spirits of Valorant, never satisfied with their current setup. They're like that friend who's always rearranging their furniture, trying to find the perfect feng shui. One day it's a dot, the next it's a cross, and by the weekend it's some abstract art piece that looks like it belongs in a modern art museum. But here's the thing, this constant tweaking isn't just about the game, it's a lifestyle, baby. These are the same people who can't decide what to order at a restaurant, who change their outfit 3 times before leaving the house, and who have commitment issues with their Netflix queue. They're not just changing their crosshair, they're changing their whole vibe. Now you might think these chronic tweakers are just indecisive mess. But hold up, there's more to it than that. These players are the experimenters, the innovators, the ones who are always pushing the boundaries. They're not afraid to try new things, to step out of their comfort zone. In a game where the meta is always shifting, maybe they're the ones who are truly adaptable. But let's be real for a second, if you're changing your crosshair more often than you're winning matches, you might want to rethink your priorities. It's like trying to find the perfect pair of shoes while running a marathon. At some point, you gotta stop shopping and start sprinting. The irony here is palpable. These players are on a never-ending quest for the perfect crosshair in a game where perfection is as elusive as a teammate who actually uses their mic. The meta is always evolving, strategies are always changing, and these crosshair chameleons are trying to keep up by constantly tweaking their reticle. It's like trying to hit a moving target with a constantly changing gun. Good luck with that, champ. But hey, who are we to judge? If changing your crosshair gives you that placebo effect of improved aim, then go for it. Just remember, if crosshair changes were a currency, you'd be swimming in Valorant points. But all those points won't buy you skill if you're spending more time in the settings menu than actually playing the game. So what's the takeaway here? Well, if you're a chronic crosshair changer, you're probably the type who's always looking for the next big thing, always trying to optimize and improve. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, just remember sometimes the grass isn't greener on the other side of the settings menu. Sometimes it's about mastering what you have, not constantly chasing what you don't. Alright, strap in because we're diving into the mind of another crosshair connoisseur, the custom art project creator. This is the player who looks at a crosshair and thinks, why aim for the head when I could create a masterpiece instead? Their crosshair isn't just a tool, it's an art form, a bold statement, a middle finger to convention. These players have turned their crosshair settings into their personal playground, crafting designs that would make your art teacher shed a tear or throw up depending on their taste. If you're a custom art project creator, you're not here to fit in with the meta sheep. You're here to stand out. You're the guy with the crosshair that looks like a Rorschach test or a Picasso painting after a few drinks. What does this say about you? Well, it's simple. You're a visionary, a maverick, someone who scoffs at the ordinary. In life, you're probably the type who's always suggesting the wildest ideas at work meetings, or the friend who insists on trying the weirdest item on the menu just for kicks. Your crosshair isn't just a point of aim, it's a performance piece. You've got shapes, colors, maybe even a hidden message in there, and while everyone else is fine-tuning their settings for optimal headshots, you're busy creating a new form of digital expression. Sure, your teammates might think you're a lunatic when they see a crosshair that looks more like modern art than a functional game tool, but when you land that perfect shot with a crosshair shaped like a rubber ducky, who's laughing then? Hint, it's you, and maybe your imaginary critics. But let's get one thing straight, your love for artistic flair might be holding you back. Let's face it, a crosshair that looks like a starburst or a series of concentric circles might not be the most efficient choice when it comes to aiming for headshots. You're like the guy who brings a paintbrush to a knife fight. Stylish, sure, but maybe not the most practical. But hey, you didn't get into gaming to follow the rules, did you? No, you're here to rewrite them. At the end of the day, it's not about the crosshair you choose, but how you use it. Just kidding, it's totally about the crosshair. Now go forth and judge your teammates accordingly. Seriously though, whether you're rocking a microscopic dot or a full screen monstrosity, own it. It's your personal brand in the Valorant world. And now make sure to watch these other videos and subscribe because I need to pay the rent.
Arrivederci.